There is a specific kind of tired that has nothing to do with sleep. You work hard every single day of the week. You read all the right books, set the highest goals, and put in the heavy hours while the rest of the world slumbers. Yet the breakthrough you were promised never seems to arrive for you. It feels as though you are driving with the emergency brake pulled tight. I know exactly how that invisible burden feels. Stop what you are doing and listen to me. Truly listen to the words I am saying. I am here to tell you that this is not a lack of effort. You do not have a discipline or motivation problem. You have a deep and invisible internal programming problem. Deep within the architecture of your subconscious mind, there is an outdated script running on a continuous loop. It is quietly sabotaging every conscious step you take toward wealth and peace. Until you rewrite that script, every empire you build will collapse under the weight of your unseen fears. You are currently operating like a common drifter. The drifter believes that sheer force of will is enough to conquer the world. But willpower is a finite resource that drains away. And when it finally runs out, the subconscious takes over and steers you right back into the storm of failure. Today, I will show you exactly how to locate that hidden script. We will rip it out by the roots together, and you will reprogram your mind to attract success as effortlessly as gravity. The masses will call it random luck, and they will loudly say you were born with a rare gift. They were not. But you and I will know the absolute truth. Wealth is never chased by the truly wise. Wealth is strictly magnetized through your focused mental intention. Look closely at your daily life right now. You are exhausted in a way that physical rest cannot fix. Your mind is constantly cluttered with heavy doubt. The weight of responsibility sits heavy on your chest every single morning, and you smile to tell everyone around you that you are perfectly fine. But inside, you are fighting a silent and brutal war against your own chaotic thoughts. I see that battle clearly, and I recognize that pain. Society has taught you to ignore the inner noise. They demand that you just work much harder. They expect you to sacrifice your peace for a basic paycheck. Your mind is filled with fear, and it is completely clogged with anxiety. But this relentless cycle only feeds the invisible enemy living in your head, because your subconscious is simply executing the destructive orders you silently feed it every single day. The universe does not respond to weak beggars. It responds exclusively to strong and decisive commanders. It responds to the man who has taken absolute control over the battlefield between his ears. If you cannot discipline your thoughts, you will never command your reality. Chaos in the mind breeds chaos in the bank account. But the moment you bring your shifting attention under strict order, the external world steps aside and bows entirely to your direction. There are exactly two kinds of men in this world. There is the consumer who lets society dictate his fate, and there is the creator who forces reality to bend to his specific will. You are watching this video because you belong to the latter group. You have felt the intense call to greatness burning inside your chest, but you do not yet know how to properly structure it. You need the exact protocol to move forward. You must fully understand the ancient law of the mind. Your subconscious is a tireless and efficient contractor. It builds exactly what you instruct it to before sleep. The emotions you feel right before rest are the blueprints you hand over to the builder. If you go to sleep in constant fear, your subconscious mind spends the next 8 hours building a solid reality of scarcity for you. You wake up into a dark world you unknowingly designed. This is the tragic and unending cycle of the modern drifter. But what if you could permanently hijack that system? What if you could use those dark hours to commission wealth and total clarity? I am going to show you the exact mechanism to make this happen. You will learn to completely bypass the conscious noise of the day, and you will access a deep state of absolute certainty. The drifter will foolishly ignore this essential truth. The sovereign commander will equip himself with this knowledge tonight. By the end of this lesson, you will understand exactly why your hard work has not paid off. You will discover the one hidden mechanism running in your brain right now that is blocking your wealth. You are not losing your mind or going crazy. You are simply shedding your old and outdated programming. You are finally leaving behind the fragile skin of the victim, and you are preparing to claim the throne that belongs to you. You must prepare your mind right now, man. You are about to step into your ultimate power. Now, let me make this plain. The universe works by absolute law, and it never operates by a simple clock. You have been waiting for the right time to change. You wait for conditions to improve. But the universe does not recognize time as you do because it only responds to the dominant frequency of your focused thoughts over long periods. You must understand this clearly. There is a fundamental law governing human existence. It dictates that every single thought is a living seed. Every physical action you take acts as the water. And while most men ignore this invisible process, your current reality is simply the inevitable harvest of the dominant thoughts you planted years ago. You are the sole architect of destiny. You are responsible for the harvest. Most men spend their entire lives missing this truth. They look at their empty bank accounts and blame the economy. They look at their exhaustion and blame their boss. But the problem is never the external soil, because the true problem is always the corrupted seed you planted in your mind. If you plant seeds of doubt, you harvest failure. This brings us to the great divide among all men. There are those who drift and those who deliberately create. The drifter is a man who completely refuses to take control of his own mental faculties. He wakes up and immediately reacts to the loud world around him. And because he consumes negative news constantly, he allows outside forces to dictate his entire life. The drifter believes that success is a matter of random chance. He secretly wishes for a lucky break to save him. But luck is a complete illusion created by those who refuse to work. The true creator knows that wealth is never randomly assigned to the weak. Instead, wealth is deliberately magnetized by a disciplined mind that operates on a very specific frequency while ignoring the chaos of the masses. You must look honestly at your own daily habits. Are you acting as a creator or surviving as a drifter? When a massive problem arises in your life, how do you react? The drifter constantly complains and plays the role of the innocent victim. But the creator remains coldly calm because he views every single failure as valuable data to build his empire. Drifting is the ultimate enemy of human potential. A wrong decision is always better than having absolutely no decision at all. The universe respects the man who makes a firm choice. It severely punishes the man who hesitates, and it will crush anyone who sits around waiting for someone else to give them permission to succeed. You must step up right now. You are the sovereign commander. Listen to me carefully as I explain this mechanism. Your subconscious mind is a tireless and absolutely obedient contractor. It never argues with the mental blueprints you hand over. If you constantly think about poverty, the contractor builds poverty, and it will silently construct an unbreakable prison of debt around you while you are completely unaware of the destructive process. This is not some cheap philosophy to make you smile. That is absolute law. It is as real and unforgiving as the law of gravity. You cannot outwork a mind that is secretly programmed for poverty. You can hustle for 18 hours a day and still end up entirely broke, because physical labor without mental alignment is just a slow form of self-destruction. So how do you begin this massive internal transformation? You must become the ruthless mental gatekeeper of your own mind. You must stand at the door of your consciousness and carefully inspect every passing thought. When a thought of fear tries to enter, you strictly deny it access. And you must immediately replace that weak thought with a clear command of absolute power, ensuring that your mind only processes instructions of wealth and success. The consumer waits and reacts to the changing environment. The creator decides and initiates his own powerful reality. You must quickly transition from being a passive consumer of external circumstances. You must start acting as if you already possess the exact wealth you desire. You walk and speak like a king, even if your bank accounts are completely empty and everyone doubts you today. This level of absolute conviction completely rewires your brain. It forces your subconscious to seek out opportunities that match your new frequency. Golden opportunities will soon begin to appear out of thin air. People will look at your sudden rise and they will call you lucky. But you will always know the silent and brutal mental discipline it actually took to magnetize those massive results while everyone else was sleeping. Let us make this intensely practical for your daily life. You cannot afford the luxury of a single negative thought. Every thought is either pushing you forward or violently pulling you back. There is absolutely no neutral ground in the fierce battle for your ultimate destiny. You are either moving toward freedom or you are actively reinforcing the invisible chains of your own bondage. The man who realizes this begins to treat his thoughts as tools. He stops using them as destructive toys to entertain his anxiety. You must clearly write down your definite chief aim in life today. You must know exactly what you demand from the universe. A vague desire produces vague and completely useless results, which will eventually leave you feeling exhausted and deeply bitter. The drifter has many scattered interests, but absolutely zero focus. The master of fate has one single obsession that dominates his mind. He thinks about it when he wakes up and when he goes to sleep. He aggressively channels all of his vital energy into that singular vision. And because he is entirely focused on his purpose, the external world has no choice but to yield to his command. You are currently losing your old and weak programming. You might feel isolated because you no longer relate to your old friends. They want to sit around and loudly complain about the unfair economy. You want to build a lasting legacy that will echo through generations. This temporary isolation is never a punishment, because it is actually a mandatory initiation for the elite 1%. Embrace the cold calmness of the difficult invisible season. The invisible season is when you are working hard but seeing zero physical results. The drifter always quits during this painful season because he needs constant validation. But the builder keeps laying bricks in the dark because he fully trusts the universal law and knows his massive harvest is guaranteed. You must instantly stop hoping for a better life. Hope is a weak beggar's emotion. You must start expecting a better life because you are actively constructing it today. Demand true greatness from yourself. Command your subconscious mind to immediately execute your definite purpose. Treat every single obstacle as a necessary test, completely designed to harden your resolve and sharpen your grand vision. What is controlling your mind today? Is it the fear of failure or the heavy memory of past mistakes? You must completely sever the chains connecting you to your past failures. Yesterday is completely dead, and it has absolutely no power over your current actions. Your point of absolute power exists strictly in this very moment, and you must use it to make a deliberate decision. This is the great secret of the unstoppable force. You do not get what you casually wish for in this life. You get exactly what you are. And until you elevate the energetic signature of your dominant thoughts, nothing will change. You now understand the profound difference between the sleeping masses and the awakened few who take responsibility and rule the modern world. The drifter will hear this absolute law and do nothing. He will quickly return to his cheap distractions and his comfortable misery, but the true creator will use this ancient law tonight. He will apply it ruthlessly to command his own reality. You must decide right now which one you are. Are you the weak victim of circumstance who constantly complains? Or are you the master of your fate who builds an empire from nothing? That is how you protect your vital energy from vampires. But protecting your energy is only the first step in this grand journey. Now you must learn exactly how to multiply it. You must clearly study the living proof of this timeless law. And that brings us directly to the undeniable evidence, revealing the exact methods used by the greatest titans of human history. Let us look to the example of the greatest titans in human history. How did a man with no formal education and absolutely no money build the largest steel empire in the world? I am talking about Andrew Carnegie. It was not a stroke of random luck. He used a very specific mental protocol that you can easily replicate tonight. He understood the absolute law of the mind. Carnegie did not simply work harder than everyone else. Hard work alone will only break your physical body. He mastered the unseen architecture of his own brain. He knew that the conscious mind is only a tiny fraction of your true power. The real engine of reality creation lies deep within your subconscious, and he learned exactly how to command that engine. This brings us to the science of modern neurology. Long before brain scans existed, the Titans instinctively understood the reticular activating system. The RAS is a bundle of nerves at the base of your brainstem. It acts as the ultimate filter for your reality. Every single second, millions of bits of data flood your physical senses. If your brain tried to process all that data at once, it would completely shut down. So the RAS filters out almost everything. It only lets through information that matches your deeply held beliefs. If you constantly think about your heavy debts, your filter blocks out all solutions. It literally makes you blind to golden opportunities standing right in front of you. But the opposite is also entirely true. When you write down your definite chief aim, you are giving a direct order to your RAS. You are programming it to aggressively hunt for wealth, success, and strategic alliances. Suddenly, you start seeing resources that were always there. You begin noticing the hidden paths that the struggling drifter walks right past. Look closely at Henry Ford. He was ridiculed by the leading engineers of his time. They told him that building a V8 engine block in one piece was physically impossible. They brought him scientific proof of why his grand vision would fail. But Ford completely refused to accept their limited reality. He ordered them to keep working until they found the answer. Ford understood that impossible is just a word used by small men. His mind was permanently locked onto the frequency of total success. He did not care about the temporary lack of evidence. He forced his engineers to stay focused on the ultimate goal. And eventually, the physical world had no choice but to bend to his unbending will. The engine was successfully built. This is exactly where modern neuroscience meets timeless wisdom. Your brain is highly neuroplastic. It literally physically changes its structure based on your dominant thoughts. When you repeat your definite purpose with strong emotion, you build new neural pathways. The more you practice this mental discipline, the thicker and stronger those pathways become over time. Thomas Edison tested thousands of different materials for the light bulb. The average drifter would call those thousands of attempts massive failures. But Edison operated on a completely different mental frequency. He coldly viewed each failure as valuable data. He said he had simply found 10,000 ways that would not work. His mental filter refused to process defeat. You must adopt this exact same psychological framework today. You cannot outwill a deeply misprogrammed mind. You must completely recode it from the inside out. Your conscious mind needs fierce discipline during the waking hours. But your subconscious mind needs a very specific protocol when you enter the twilight state before sleep. This state is known as hypnagogia. Hypnagogia is the gateway to your deepest mental programming. It is that brief window of time when you are half awake and half asleep. During this crucial period, your analytical conscious mind finally shuts down. The rigid gatekeeper steps away from the door. And your subconscious mind lies wide open, ready to receive direct commands without any logical resistance. The masses use this sacred window to worry about their unpaid bills. They fall asleep watching toxic news and absorbing heavy trauma. They literally program their own failure while they rest. But the titans of industry use this twilight state to vividly imagine their empires. They handed clear and powerful blueprints over to the tireless internal contractor. This is why your current reality feels so chaotic. You have been leaving your most powerful tool completely unguarded. You let the noisy world program your mind while you sleep, but you can reclaim your sovereign authority tonight. You can start using this twilight state to install the mindset of a billionaire. It is a biological mechanism that is freely available to you. Think of your mind as the most fertile soil on earth. It does not care what kind of seed you plant. It will grow poisonous weeds just as quickly as it will grow beautiful crops. The soil simply returns what you give it. You must become completely ruthless about what you allow into your mind during those final moments of the day. You must protect your mental soil. The Creator knows that wealth is first built in the unseen realm. The physical money in your hand is only the lagging indicator of your internal frequency. If you want to change the visible results, you must first change the invisible cause. You must align your nervous system with the exact reality you wish to experience. This is not magic, it is pure biology. Now you know the hidden mechanism of the Titans. The drifter will hear this scientific truth and ignore it. The drifter will say it sounds too simple to actually work, but the master will use it tonight. He will begin testing this biological law immediately. Which one are you? Are you ready to take dominion over your own biology and command your absolute future? Now we are getting close to the thing you can actually do. You understand the hidden architecture of your own mind. You know that your subconscious is a tireless builder waiting for instructions. But knowledge without immediate execution is completely worthless. It is time to establish the exact mental protocol of the 1%. We begin this new life tonight. The first step is total cosmic housekeeping. You must ruthlessly cut away the heavy noise of the masses. I am talking about the final 15 minutes before you go to sleep. Most men spend this sacred window scrolling through toxic digital feeds. They invite chaos and fear directly into their mental temple. You must stop this destructive habit immediately. Your digital phone must be turned off completely. The television must go totally silent. You are the sovereign commander of your mind, and you must guard its precious gates with your life. During these 15 minutes, you enter a state of deep and deliberate silence. You sit alone in the dark and you confront your own thoughts. This is where true transformation begins. In this profound silence, you must clearly write down your definite chief aim. A vague wish will only produce extremely vague results. You must demand a specific outcome from the universe. Write it down on a physical piece of paper using pen and ink. This physical action strongly bridges the gap between the invisible world of thought and the visible material world. Say this bold statement aloud. Read your definite purpose with absolute power and unbending conviction. The universe responds directly to the intense vibration of your spoken words. Do not whisper it like a frightened beggar asking for a favor. Speak it like a king handing down a royal decree. Let the vibration of these heavy words completely rewire your nervous system. This is not some empty motivational trick for weak men. This is the exact biological mechanism that programs your reticular activating system. As you read your aim aloud, you must vividly imagine that you already possess it. You must deeply feel the massive relief and the immense pride of victory. The subconscious mind absolutely cannot tell the difference. If you feel entirely poor, you must aggressively act as if you are wealthy. Walk with the strong posture of a man who has already conquered the world. Speak with the calm authority of an unstoppable force. The drifter will quickly laugh at this and call it fake. But the Creator knows you must embody the exact frequency of success before it ever manifests in reality. What happens when you wake up and face brutal adversity? The average man quickly reverts to playing the helpless victim. He complains loudly and lets the external world ruin his internal peace. You must completely reject this weak and common reaction. When a major crisis suddenly hits, you must maintain a state of cold calmness. You treat every single failure as raw data. There is no emotional breakdown for the strict mental gatekeeper. If a business deal collapses, you do not panic or cry about your bad luck. You simply adjust your aggressive strategy and you move forward with incredible momentum. Your internal reality must remain entirely independent of the chaotic external world. This fierce independence is your ultimate weapon. I command you to establish this strict tradition tonight. Do not just passively listen to this video and go back to your miserable daily routine. Hesitation is the absolute death of human destiny. You must write down your definite chief aim before you close your tired eyes. You must hand a clear blueprint of massive wealth over to your internal contractor today. Do not ever try to do this. Trying is just a pathetic excuse for failure prepared in advance. You must fully decide to do this. You must commit to this sacred night ritual every single day until your reality physically bends to your iron will. This daily repetition is the only possible way to tear down your outdated mental programming. You are breaking chains. Every single morning, you must actively review this exact same written vow. Before the world has a chance to infect your mind with fear, you fiercely remind yourself of who you truly are. You are a powerful magnetic force. You easily attract golden opportunities by simply maintaining your high frequency. You absolutely refuse to let the chaotic news dictate your emotions. When a negative thought tries to enter your mind, you must catch it instantly. You do not argue with it or analyze its deep meaning. You simply and ruthlessly replace it with your definite chief aim. This requires exhausting mental vigilance during the first few weeks, but eventually this fierce discipline becomes entirely automatic. Your brain will reject poverty. The universe will relentlessly test your new and bold commitment. It will throw heavy distractions and loud doubters directly into your chosen path. People will closely watch your new discipline, and they will try to drag you back down to their low level. They want you to stay exactly average so they can feel comfortable. You must sever those toxic ties without any fear. You are building an invisible empire alone in the dark. The foundation must be poured deep into your subconscious before anyone else can see the towering results. Keep your definite purpose completely secret from the wandering masses. Protect your grand vision with fierce loyalty. The world will eventually see your massive success, but they will never see your silent work. This is the exact ritual that permanently changes reality. You now know the hidden mechanism of the elite 1%. The struggling drifter will ignore this simple practice because it requires intense daily discipline. But the master will use it tonight to claim his rightful throne. Which one are you? The time for endless learning is completely over for you now. Now comes the great turning point in your entire life. You have the deep knowledge and you possess the daily protocol. But there is one final barrier you must absolutely destroy before you can cross over to greatness. Protecting your energy is step 1, and programming your mind is step 2. But now, you must make the ultimate choice that seals your ultimate fate forever. The time for drifting is completely over. You have heard the ancient and unbending law of the universe. You now know that every single excuse you have ever made was nothing but a shadow. The heavy exhaustion you feel is a direct result of your own mental weakness. But tonight you must finally stand up. You must look your invisible enemy in the face and end this misery. You must say to yourself that this is the very end. No more playing the helpless victim to external circumstances. No more letting wild fear write the miserable script of your entire life. That pathetic chapter is permanently closed. The drifter inside of you must die tonight so the true creator can finally breathe. You must brutally kill your old and limited identity right now. The world is not waiting for a perfect version of you. The masses are waiting for a disciplined thinker and a conscious creator. They are looking for a man who has chosen to rise above the mental noise. That powerful man is already living deep inside of you, and it is time to wake him up from his long sleep. You must claim your rightful throne and rule your mind. You are literally one bold decision away from massive momentum. You are one firm belief away from absolute mental clarity. A complete shift in your reality will not happen unless you force it to happen. So I challenge you to make a final decision right this second. Will you return to the loud chaos of the sleeping masses tomorrow morning, or will you step into power? A wrong decision is always infinitely better than absolutely no decision. The universe violently punishes the man who hesitates and waits for a magical sign. You do not need another sign or another motivational lesson. You are the sign you have been desperately waiting for. Every single thought you tolerate is a command you send out. You must take control of the helm. There is absolutely no neutral thought in this fierce internal war. Every thought is either moving you toward ultimate freedom or dragging you down. The man who realizes this never allows a stray thought to survive. He treats his mental focus as his most valuable physical asset. You must become the ruthless architect of your own destiny today. You must build your empire. Break free once and for all from the heavy shackles of negative thinking. Your conscious mind is the only gateway to your ultimate future. Your disciplined thoughts are the only key you will ever need. Never again let a weak thought decide your fate. You are a sovereign commander, and your word is absolute law. The world has absolutely no choice but to bend to your iron will. You did not click on this message by random accident. You came here as a man completely exhausted by the endless drift. You were deeply tired of letting random circumstances dictate your daily peace. But today you have finally remembered exactly who you are. You are the sole gatekeeper of your mental fortress. You act independently of cheap motivation, and you demand greatness. From this exact night forward, you are a builder in the invisible season. You do not need applause, and you do not need immediate physical evidence. You simply plant the seeds of wealth, and you wait for the massive harvest. Stand up right now and accept your heavy responsibility. You are the 1%, and you carry the weight of greatness on your strong shoulders. This knowledge I have shared is incredibly heavy and demanding. It will absolutely not serve you if you only hear it once and walk away. The noisy world will try to erase these laws from your mind by tomorrow. Your stubborn subconscious requires intense daily repetition to build a brand new world. Therefore, I command you to treat this specific lesson as your daily armor. Listen to this exact protocol again and again until it is fully installed. Play these words as you prepare to sleep, and play them as you work. Make these unbending principles the only loud voice you tolerate in your head. You must close your eyes tonight and make a sacred vow to yourself. This is the exact moment you sign a binding contract with your own ultimate destiny. The choice to remain average has been completely removed from your life. If you are truly ready to command your reality, you must seal your decision right now. Write your definite purpose in the comments below this video. Let those written words become the physical proof of your absolute commitment. State it loudly and declare it with the unshakable confidence of a titan. Subscribe to this channel if this tradition of greatness belongs to you. Join the exclusive ranks of the elite men who completely refuse to drift. Share this lesson with the one person who is building an empire alongside you. Do not share it with the weak consumer who complains about his life. Keep this inner circle tight and fiercely protect your high frequency at all costs. Your entire past is completely dead, and it cannot touch you anymore. Your ultimate future is being aggressively written in this very second. You are the master of your fate and the architect of your success. I expect you to return to this message every single night until you win. Do not let me down and do not betray your own vast potential. Step forward and command the universe. The masses will always wait for a miracle to save them from their misery. But you know that the only real miracle is a highly disciplined mind. You must brutally enforce this new mental standard starting right now. There is no tomorrow, and there is no perfect time to begin this journey. The only time that actually exists is this exact present moment. You must strike while the iron is hot. Look closely at the life you are about to completely leave behind. Smile at the old pain because it forced you to find this ultimate truth. You have the ancient tools, and you have the fierce mindset of a conqueror. Go down into the comments and declare your total sovereignty to the world. Your new life begins right now. Never surrender your mind, and never stop building your empire.